Hello everybody. Today I wanted to do a quick value study and just show how I approach, or my painting approach, to a value study. So I have this reference right here where I think it's a statue or bust, I'm not sure what the correct term is, but I thought it was a really nice reference and I wanted to do a quick value study of it. So I'm just going to go talk through my process of how I usually approach these. So here we go. Alright, so I've got the lasso tool here. So the first step that I usually take is to just define or just get a big chunk of whatever the subject is as my first step. So usually I would just use the paintbrush, but I recently started using the lasso tool and it is a game changer. So I'm just gonna use my observation skills and just kind of mentally trace the silhouette of the statue. Doesn't have to be perfect because we can always change it as we go. Okay. And I feel like doing this shape exercise helps you with proportions over time. And it's just one of the biggest fundamentals in drawing. Okay, so we got that. I'm going to select a base color. Let's go with, I would say in the reference I'm seeing it's around here. So let's fill that in. Alright, there we go. We have the silhouette. So it's a bit rough around the edges, but if we find that there's something off, we can fix it in just a bit. Let's go ahead and continue with the lasso tool. And let's pick our darkest value. So in the reference, I see there is a spot that is pretty much almost pure black. So but not exactly pitch black. So I'm going to go with this as our darkest value. And I'm going to go ahead and use the lasso tool yet again. So I'm not going to worry about getting it perfect. I'm going to use the landmarks of the eyes as our rangefinder. So I can see that the eye, I'm going to try and capture that shape, that shadow shape above that right eye. Okay, and let's do the same for the left eye. I'm just trying to design a shape that matches what I see in the reference. Okay, this one is a bit rough. Let me clear that and redraw it. Again, it does not have to be perfect. Okay, there we go. Alright, and then I can also see this spot by the nose. The whole left side of the nose, or yeah, this part. This is in shadow. There we go. Let's do a quick proportion check, because this is definitely not right as of right now, but we have something on paper, and not on paper, but like, you get what I mean. Okay, I'm gonna keep going in here and I'm looking for the shadows, the shadow shapes, the main shadow shapes, and I'm using the lasso tool to do that job for me. I'm just looking for those shapes. Like I see this little crescent on top, under the hair. Fill that in. Let's see. And then it's almost as the entire left side is in shadow as well. I'm actually looking more at the reference than I am at the drawing. Okay, there's definitely a proportion issue, but let's continue. And then it looks like this entire bottom of the bust area is in shadow as well. Curve around up until the beard. I think the shadow ends around there. Go back up. Alright, it looks decent right now. It's all hard shapes, so it's not going to look exactly like anything in the photo right now. Let's just keep going and carve out those shadow shapes. I see I missed this area up here. There we go, get that in shadow. And since this part is bugging me a little bit around the ear and the beard area, I'm going to go and fix the proportion really quick. Okay, there's 2 triangle shapes. There's this distinct shape right here I want to capture as well. There. Carves into the beard. Goes out. Up. Perfect. And let's continue marking out shadow shapes. So I see on this side it's much less distinct. I'm still going to use the same value because we're keeping it to 2 values right now. We start small and then you add more as you go. Same principle with the shapes. You go from big to small. So right now we're going to capture all the big areas and then we'll end up on the small areas. For anyone who has not tried using the lasso tool, I really recommend it because I used to not like it as well, but it takes a certain level of skill and practice to get comfortable with it. But it's a really good tool for making hard edges. Okay, judging by how... Okay, so the nose is definitely a bit off. Okay, that might be better. And then let's get this under eye area. I'm not sure what exactly that is. Let's get this. There we go. And then there's a couple more of these little shadow shapes on the edge. I'm gonna start speeding things up. This is one of my favorite things to do with the lasso tool. It's really fast at, or it can help you define shapes a lot faster than you would if you were just using a paintbrush, because sometimes the brush can't get it right and you just feel that need to get that shape right. You use most of the time the lasso tool is able to capture that general shape much quicker. Okay, starting to look pretty decent to me. Let's add a little bit more right here. Okay, we still have not done this area under the nose and the mouth. Alright, let's quickly define these shapes. And there's a shape on the beard. It kind of looks like a swan. See, that's what I mean when you look at shapes. Using the lasso tool really helps you like figure out or just be better at creating your own unique shapes. Because in these statues, there's no distinct shape that, or like besides the actual statue itself, there's no distinct shapes, but you're mentally creating shapes when you're looking at it and putting it onto your own rendition. Okay, now that we got the main shadows done, I'm going to take a second here and fix the proportions. Just double check everything. Alright, now that we've had the general shadows defined, it looks kind of coherent. You can tell it's a statue. And the use of the lasso tool really gives off the illusion of detail, because there's these little tiny shapes that have hard edges. I'm going to go in and fix a little bit more. Whoops, wrong. Okay. Now I think we can start using the paintbrush, because we already got the main shadow shapes down. I just like using the lasso tool to get these shadow shapes down, because it looks really sharp, and it's just a lot more precise than the paintbrush. Okay, let's introduce our third value. So I know some people like to introduce like the darker values first, and some people like the lighter values first. But I personally go from dark to light because that's what I was taught. But do what's most comfortable for you. But what I'll do is, since we started with that darkest value, we're going to go find the areas that are second darkest. So let's go ahead and use the paintbrush now. What I really like about value studies is that it helps you practice using, or I don't even know if there's a name for it. It's when you have so many different values, or it's like when you layer so many values are close together, it creates a really nice illusion of realism or just form in general. It's like that smooth render look. I really like that. Okay, in hindsight, I think I should have used this as the main shadow color, because there already isn't that much really dark black. So now I'm ending up having to color over those initial shadow areas, but it's okay. One, two. Okay, I think this is an extra shape that I just created out of nowhere. Yeah, there we go. Now it looks like he actually has a beard. I'm gonna just take the lasso tool again. Save some time. Just go over those shapes I created earlier. Oh, wrong value again. There we go. And there's some more. Alright, I'm just gonna keep using the lasso tool. It's getting... I think we'll switch to the paintbrush when we need to define the edges. That way we can play to each one's strengths. Because right now we're still defining general and main shapes. Definitely seems like the mouth area is the most complex. There's just so many shapes there. Which makes me glad that I'm using the lasso tool rather than the actual paintbrush. I think that was what was keeping me from creating really clean paintings before. It would always be really rough because I would use only the paintbrush. And when you use only the paintbrush, it's really easy to get lost, and there's just like a bunch of edges everywhere, or like there's really lost edges, and it becomes really difficult to distinguish forms from each other. Okay, I'm liking how the mouth is looking. Not too bad. Kind of looks like Thetis from Invincible. There we go. So let's keep adding more of that second darkest value. I feel like there's something off about this right eye. I think we might have put it a little bit too far to the right. But, whoops. Alright, I think we'll switch to the paintbrush now because we're starting to hit the soft edges like this on the cheek right here. Let's take a transition value. And be careful to just look at the edges and keep some hard edges and then leave some. Alright. Actually, I think I might try a new approach. I think instead of using the paintbrush right now, I'm going to keep using the lasso tool. And then at the end, I'll just go in and use the smudge tool to create the soft edges. Okay, I'm gonna fix this eye right here. It's not really accurate. It looks like he's looking downwards. So I'm gonna go with a downwards crescent shape. His eye's still open, so I'm gonna make it bigger. Okay, I'm gonna layer this value on top of the black we set earlier. It'll create an illusion with these little subtle value shifts. Okay, I've moved on to the value between the base color and the shadow color. So I think I'll use this one as a midtone or transition color. Value. Let's capture this shadow area up here. This is a really nice shape. You see how this one shape can define this entire right side? That's how important shape design is. Studies like these really train your ability to see these little shapes. It's like instead of looking at the subject itself as a tangible object, you just see shapes. Shapes and form. Okay, I'm satisfied with the shapes we got, so let's go and start building around those shapes with the paintbrush and defining those those soft edges. I'm just gonna lay this light value down where I see the light, and then we'll just build around that with the values that are closest to that. And if you see shapes that are too small or delicate to be made with the paintbrush, just go ahead and go back to using the lasso tool, because those sharp edges can still stand out in the final product. Make sure you don't lose all the hard edges when you do the painting, because you start to lose that illusion of form when your edges get messy. Okay, at this stage, I think I'm gonna start freestyling the values and just add the values that are closest to whatever the area I'm working on, and just slowly fade out or fade in. Okay, I'm gonna add the light almost second to the lightest value now. Looking for those bright spots, but not necessarily highlights. Alright, now that we've gotten most of this done, we can go ahead and smooth out the areas that are soft edges, like the beard, where there's a soft transition between forms. So just go in, I'm just gonna go in and make them soft edges. Just blur them out, smudge the edges. And soon it's gonna look like a solid, like a actual beard. I'm actually gonna keep this as a hard edge, because to see on the reference, it's somewhat of a hard edge. Go in and out with the paintbrush to fix up some inconsistencies, add some detail. The goal of this is not really to make it look good, but just to practice our fundamentals. So I'm just gonna go in and practice looking for the soft and hard edges and differentiating the two. You can see there's a lot of soft edges on the above the eye and right here where the head turns and curves. So we need to blur that to show that, change it, and the softness and roundness of the form. This upper forehead part is especially difficult because there's just so much going on. Let's also smudge this area where the face turns. Smooth out some of these creases by the eye. Now lastly, I'm gonna add really sharp details on the parts with highlights. So just leave little specks of white or near white. I'll try to make these shapes interesting because they're going to be on the outermost. We might have to go back and re-smudge some of this, because all these are hard edges. I feel like this red area is missing a lot of value. It's missing a certain value. So I'm going to go in there and fix it. It's missing some sort of transition value. But it's okay because it's on the side that's more exposed to the light. Also make the ear more distinct. There we go. Smooth this out as well. And I'm liking how this is looking a lot. Not as close as I would like, but we got really good practice out of doing a nice value study. I hope this video helped show how useful the lasso tool can be. It's almost taken over this entire painting, if I'm being honest. It's really easy to make these unique shapes with the lasso tool. You just zigzag your pencil around and just creates these really nice sharp shapes. Look at that. Clean. So clean. I find using like a balance between the two is really, really nice. Add some on here, subtle value shift. Even though I didn't over render it, it looks really nice from distance. And I think I'll leave it at that. I might smudge a bit of this out on the beard yet again, because I added some shadows with hard edges again. I'll smooth some of these transitions between values up here. I find using too much of soft edges and too much of each one creates something unnatural, so it's best to keep it balanced. Alright, I think I will call it there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll try and keep improving, and with that, I hope to see you guys in the next episode. See ya.